What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Got a new batch of knives in to check out. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, we got a couple of them in here, so I am going to roll through these pretty quickly. First up, we have the Kizer Buddy. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, I get this confused with the little buddy that I have from Asher Knives, but you have a Nitro V blade that's been coated, nice angle on it, 3-finger grip with some G10 scales on top of the full blade tang, and it even comes with a little lanyard post, which I do appreciate, or a little lanyard, which I appreciate because it does give that pinky something to grab onto. So a nice little 3-finger fixie in from Kizer this week to check out. Feels like it's going to be a slicer. I am very interested to check this one out. Comes with a Kydex sheath, and you have your little ulti clip here that you can swap out for a different clip if this doesn't interest you. Let's keep it going. All right, next in, the first of a couple of Tuyas. This one is the Wrath. Got a nice spear point blade, or a nice tanto with a subtle recurve. And you have a little harpoon shape on the top, butterscotch micarta that is polished to a finish, titanium liners here with a steel lock bar insert, titanium back spacer, and pocket clip. So it is premium, but they are giving you some different scale materials, which is nice to see. The butterscotch micarta actually looks really good in person. It is a full-size knife. I'm able to get all 4 fingers on here. Good access to that lock bar. Very smooth on the action. A little out of center. I'll try to check that out when we actually get to the review, but it's locked up solid. I'm not feeling anything loose. It's got a very, very stout detent. I would actually probably detune this one a little bit, if you can believe that or not. What is the blade steel on this? M390, so got premium blade steel. I'd probably call that a sharpening choil. Doesn't really feel like it is intended to be used. You can choke up though and land on that flat spot and get really close to that blade's edge. Feels like a hollow grind on this with a flat out on the tip. So I bet this will slice very, very well. Like that belt satin finish on here. Just a really nice model from Tuya, something different to check out this week. Really cool. We also have another Tuya, although this is a little bit more of a classier looking knife. I think this is the Azu. If I'm saying it right, it's A-U-Z-U, I think is how you pronounce it. Titanium construction all throughout. You got some shred carbon fiber inlays, and they look like they're extremely well done. Tuya did a very good job, at least on this example. You got a front flipper and an opening hole. Very nicely tuned. Oh, check out that belt satin finish. Very nice looking belt satin finish. Don't see the blade steel. I see the maker's mark here and the Tuya mark there. I will find out what the blade steel is on this one. Does have some micro milling internally there with a steel lock bar insert. Looking good. See here. Oh yeah, definitely riding on bearings. Very well tuned. Feels good for the front flipper. Feels very good for that lock bar. I mean, not lock bar, that opening hole. Full 4-finger grip. I would say you would probably use the scallop section for the middle finger. Feels very thin. And the edge does feel sticky, so I can't wait to check this one out. As I mentioned, riding on bearings. And interesting. I'm wondering how this gets disassembled. It looks like there's a screw internally here. And I can't really see into the bolster, because I don't really see where the screw is to disassemble it. So I'm wondering if it has a system where it kind of latches onto the scales with that screw when you turn it loose, and that's how you're able to get in and take the pocket clip off to, or you might not even need to take that off to take it apart, but it is a pass round, so I can't take this one apart. But that is the Tuya Azu, if I'm saying it right. All right, we got one in from KB Knives. This one is a very interesting model. I don't know that I've handled a plunge button lock from KB Knives yet, or from Kubey for that matter. Nice and centered. Like that back spacer on here. It is a full-length back spacer with a miniature flipper tab. You also have thumb studs. Almost looks like those could be used like a wave deployment almost, and it does feel sharp enough to where you could probably catch those if you wanted, pulling it out of the pocket. And then it has a pocket for that reverse flick. So let's try this because this looks really small. Let's try this flipper tab. Not the best flipper tab. This is the Sumo. If I didn't mention it, it is a Jake Hoback design, CPM 20CV. Kubey does a really good job with their 20CV. The black wash on this looks really, really good. I'm not sure what other versions they have as of this video, but when I dive into a little bit more, I will share that in the review. Plunge lock stands up nice and proud. This looks like a smaller knife, like a 3.5 finger, so more of a medium-sized EDC. Oh, that is sharp. I don't think you could choke up on that. I mean, it's not sharp like the blade, but it is sharp where it is not comfortable. So I don't know that you could choke up on that. Oh, this would be really good for like detailed work, utility work, like a little light duty EDC. You know, that is more medium size. The plunge lock detent is tuned very well. Both that reverse flick and the thumb flick feels really good. Like I said, I can't get really good leverage on that flipper tab to flip it. It's very, very sharp. Yeah, this is cool though. Riding on bearings. Looks like simple pin construction with 2-screw disassembly. And not, oh yeah, hollowed out. I see it now. Hollowed out internally because it doesn't feel super heavy. Like I said, 3.5 finger grip. Feels thin. So I think this is going to be a nice cutter. And again, they did a really good job with that dark wash on there. So that is the Sumo, guys. Next up, we have the premium Kizer in finally to check out. This is the Silverwing, and this one is a little bit more of a pricier Kizer, but there's a couple of reasons for that. You can already tell right out the gate the level of detail and the build quality on this just feels different. Kizer, premium Kizers by themselves and premium Kizers always feel very well built for the money. But to me, this feels like it is stepping it up a little bit. Attention to detail. You got micro milling all throughout. I don't know that I've ever seen dark washed titanium from Kubey. I'm from Kizer, not Kubey. I'm sorry, from Kizer before. Nice pocket clip on here. Up a little bit of a tapper. And unfortunately, it looks like you would have to disassemble to get to the inset screw. Yeah, I can see it. The inset screw in there in order to be able to kind of bend that back into place. But it looks like theoretically it could work well. It looks like it has a slot for tritium inserts if you wanted to put those in the blade. Thumb hole, and you have a front flipper. Unfortunately, that jimping is a little underwhelming. I would have liked to have seen sharper jimping and have it a little bit tighter. You got titanium in the pivot collar. This looks like it's all titanium construction. I like the way that it kind of clamshells to this really thin back spacer with the hidden lanyard hole, so to speak, integrated into the actual frame itself. Ooh, very nice detent. That's a good belt satin finish, not quite as good as some others I have seen. Kubey's really stepped it up on here, and Bestech and Rayot have really good belt satin finishes, but this is pretty good. I would definitely give this a high mark for how it looks in person. Got a little bit of a trailing point blade shape. It is completely sterile. I don't see the steel on here, so I'll have to check that out to see what the steel is. Good access to the lock bar. Very controlled close. Very satisfying deployment with the detent, and feels a little weak for me. I would like a little bit of a stronger detent for that front flipper, but as is, I would still say that's pretty good. Now, I am able to almost get a 4-finger grip choked back. I would probably just land right here on this jimping without using the full choke up. And that will give me a very comfortable 4-finger grip. Middle finger's landing comfortably in the scallop section, and my ring and pinky are landing comfortably there as well. So that actually feels pretty comfortable. I am feeling a little bit of that pocket clip when I am choked up. Choked back, it's a little tight, but to me, I would probably just really hold it in this position, have a little bit left over on the back, a little bit out in front. And this to me feels like the most comfortable position. Good grind. It is not the sliciest, but it is not thick. It feels like a pretty standard EDC grind. So it is going to, I think, feel slicey when we get to the actual cutting on this one. Can't really tell what type of bearings this one's running on. I mean, I know they're ceramic. I just don't know if they're like a Delrin, single row, multi-row. There are a couple of Kaisers out there like the October that have multi-row Delrin style washers. It is favoring the show side ever so slightly, but that also feels like the pivot may be backed out slightly. There we go. Let's just a little snug up. All right, that's gone now. Much more controlled, and still favoring the show side just a little bit on mine. So I'll take a look at that one a little bit later, but that is the Silver Wing. I don't think this one is available anymore. It was a really limited run. All right, last but not least is going to be all of those were pass rounds. This is my own personal, and this is the McNeese Mac 2 3.5 inch magnet cut steel that has been etched and stonewashed with titanium that has been anodized, and it does have this really wild looking, I will call it a Spyderco style or a Protec style pocket clip where it's kind of flat mounted, not deep carry. I did go ahead while I was waiting to do this video, order a fold over deep carry clip that we'll pull out here in a second from Lynch Northwest. I think this is probably going to be too light of a color blue. I wanted to take a shot and see if their blue would match, but this feels more like that bronze into blue where it almost is a blurple type color. I don't know if you can tell on the screen here, but it's got a really unique anodized. The undercoating on it or underpins of it kind of has that bronzish hue to it, and it looks like they kind of caught it right as it was turning over to the purple. So the lower voltage, it looks like these are some smaller thumb studs, but it is a full-size knife, 4-finger grip. I'm able to get on that one. Good access to the lock bar, very smooth open and close, well-tuned detent on there. A little bit of a late break on the detent for closing. You got to get it, you know, let's see, right there, it's on the ramp. And there it's past the ramp. So it does feel like there is a ramp on this. And it is slightly, they're shallow pockets, but it is slightly hollowed out to reduce the weight a little bit. It feels very good in the hand. Let's go ahead and pop into the box from Lynch Northwest really quick and see if this will match. Hoping that it will. It is close, but it isn't quite right. So wondering why that spacer is there. Maybe it doesn't fit exactly down in there, but I'm not going to put that on here until I have a chance to kind of, it looks long too, doesn't it? Oh, I guess so. It kind of lands. No, that looks really long. Yeah, it's a little bit longer, which isn't going to be too bad. I mean, but it is going to go pretty far up there. I didn't really see any other options for the McNeese pocket clip. Yeah, standard service blue. I guess that's service blue. I'm not sure what that is. But this is like the atomic blue, so I'm going to try to get that to match this one is what I was saying. But that's everything that came in this week. Let me know what you think about this batch that has come in, what questions you have, which ones you're most interested in of the ones that have come in this week. Again, a nice batch to check out. I'm super excited to look through these and look over these. Very fun, very interesting. I've been very lucky with the arrival and the selection that we have here, coming from the pass round, and then one that I did pick up for myself. All right. Don't forget affiliate links down in the description. If you're interested in anything, those links do help the channel. A special shout out and thanks to my channel members. Your support does help and go a long way in supporting the channel. So thank you for that. I am out of here, guys. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.